Much indeed for that. Now, 51551 for this. I'm sure you'll enjoy our next conversation, because you can't beat Northern Europeans, they say, in the battle against busyness. After the Danes gave us hygge, which involved getting cosy and spoiling yourself, the Swedes came up with fika, which means taking a break for tea and cake, which I'm all signed up for. Now the Dutch are weighing in with Nixon, which apparently means just doing nothing. Where can we possibly go wrong here? Well, Dr. Trudy Meehan is a lecturer at the Centre for Positive Health Sciences at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, and she's on the line. Dr. Trudy Meehan, you're very welcome to the programme. Why do we find it, doing nothing, so difficult?
That's a great question, and there's some really simple answers to it. Partly we find it really uncomfortable to do nothing, because we start to feel some of the discomfort that we carry, that we push aside from being busy all the time. But also a lot of us are overworked and overburdened, and we need a certain level of stress to kind of propel us along and keep us going, and we need those kind of stress hormones to keep us running.
Yeah.
And then when we slow down, our cortisol goes back to more healthy levels, and we don't have that kind of high level stress energy to propel us. And it can be really hard to get going then once we stop.
Well, is there any harm, let me ask you, right, of avoiding Nixon altogether, avoiding doing nothing, and if we have a spare 10 minutes or half an hour, we just grab the phone and start doing stuff?
Yeah, there is. And this is the thing, like, we're not designed to keep going at a high pace all the time. We're designed to have ebbs and flows in our activities throughout the day and throughout kind of our weeks and months, through cycles. So we need to take breaks, and it's almost the simple way of thinking about it is like a fallow field. When you're farming, you need that time of rest with not too much information coming into your brain to allow for fertile things to happen, creativity, new ideas, to get your focus back, to be able to open your mind a little bit. And it's really helpful to turn off, especially the devices, because we're in really serious information overload.
Okay, so can you give me some examples as to what qualifies as doing nothing then? So say I'm on a train, if I'm just looking out the window sort of thinking about all the stuff that I have to do when I get home, is that doing nothing?
Exactly.
Or if I'm reading a book, is that doing nothing?
That's a brilliant question, because studies show that a wandering mind is not a happy mind. So we're very good at thinking forward, but we tend to think about bad things and worry. Like you were saying, you're sitting there thinking of all the things. That's not doing nothing. That's catastrophizing. That's worrying. That's having anxious thoughts.
Planning.
But doing things like reading a book is an act of creative engagement. You're using your imagination to engage with an artistic artifact, a book written by somebody else. That's really, really good doing nothing.
That's great news. So then I have a proper excuse for every time I want to pick up the book. Like, this is this is important for me in my life.
It's genuinely important. Anytime we do something where we engage in something creative or do something that involves play, it's really helpful for reducing the stress hormones, helping our immune system, but also giving us a better sense of well-being. It's really good for us.
Okay. Now, you mentioned play then, and what about playing? I know you said put down the devices, but some play does involve devices, and it can be very creative. There are some games that can be very creative, and you can do them sort of with other people, and it's very social. And yes or no?
Yes.
Oh.
And that's the thing. Not all technology is bad. It's the type of technology that we use and the way that we use it. So something like social media, where the information bites are very quick, they're being coming at us fast and thick, and you're getting overloaded. That can be really damaging for your focus and attention. But if you're online and using technology to play, that can be really helpful. And for a lot of us, it's often the only way we can kind of legitimately play, especially as adults. And it has a social benefit, and you're using your imagination.
Can I ask you about something that I think is wrong here, though? I think this is the latest in another problem that we have in modern life, if I can philosophise for a second, right?
Yeah.
Right,
I think this is part of our obsession, in the West anyway, of thinking that somebody else has the key to happiness, that it's Higa
Yes.
or that it's Nixon or that it's whatever the Japanese do. Maybe that isn't the case.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's like not
you go,
only
Sarah.
are we in information
Yeah.
overload, but we're in overload of all these things we need to do to be healthy and happy. And then you get overwhelmed and you're not healthy or happy because you're trying to do all the things. Now we have to add in doing nothing. And it is too much. And a lot of the things we need to go back to is flow, balance, rhythms, making space for relationships and connection, bringing in joy and simple things. And we've moved very far away from a lot of the simple things.
Well, do you know what? I'll
And,
tell you one thing,
yeah.
Dr. Trudy Meehan from the RCSI. It's fascinating to listen to you, but we have to take a break now and do nothing ourselves here for about a minute before we return with Study Hub. Thank you.